Hello and welcome to Squib TV. I'm Samuel Ayton, joined by James Cartwright, and today we're going to be continuing our discussion on the best player in the NFL. What we're going to be deciding today, James?
We're going to round up and actually decide who is the best player.
Right then, so we've narrowed it down to 8 players. Now, I have a screen in front of me which has them on it, so I may start doing things with my hands just to keep that lit up. However, if not, I'm sure we can remember them. Can you remember them? Let's go through them anyway, James. So, NFC North, we had the QB from the Packers.
Rodgers, yes.
NFC East, we had the Cowboys wide receiver.
Dez Bryant.
NFC South, we had the Carolina Panthers linebacker.
Kuechly.
NFC West, we had the Arizona Cardinals running back.
David Johnson.
Then AFC North was
Antonio Brown.
the Pittsburgh Steelers receiver, of course. AFC East was
Tom Brady.
Patriots QB. AFC South was the Houston Texans defensive player.
J.J. Watt.
And the AFC West was the Denver Broncos defensive player.
Von Miller.
Yeah, so we've narrowed them down to an order that is kind of acceptable, but it's up for debate. So what we want you guys to do is debate with us on the comments, on Twitter, whatever it is that you want to, what you see fit. Please let us know whether you think we're
abuse if you disagree.
Yeah, just if you don't think we're right, tell us you're not right there. That's completely wrong. So we're going to roll in with number 8, and it is the man who is doing that when he scores his TDs. We're going to go with Dez Bryant. I just think he's the weakest of the receivers on the list, of which there are only 2.
Yeah.
And Antonio Brown is the other one. James, Dez Bryant, do you think he has a case to be higher than this on this list, or do you think that he's happy where he is?
If I'm honest, no, because I would debate he's not even the best player on the Cowboys. Myself, I said earlier in the debate, I would even say Jason Witten can be more reliable on his day, and with that celebration, he might as well sign for West Ham United.
Well, obviously that is what Chicharito Hernandez was doing when he scored against Southampton. But yeah, Dez Bryant, I think he's a solid guy. Still waiting for Dez to have his breakout season. And I also think the Cowboys they need to go that extra mile. Yeah, I mean, and they were got in the playoffs last season. They had the best.
This is the thing. If they got through that game against the Packers and actually won that, and Dez Bryant had been the man. He made a couple of TD. He made a TD grab. I know he did. And if they actually got through that game, won it, made the NFC Championship game and won that, we may have been talking about him as one of the best players in this list. It's fine margins when it comes to the NFL.
And this can change yearly, so Dez might be higher, might be lower next time. But either way, he won out. He was the best out, what we consider the best player in the NFC East, which is a tough division. So fair play to Dez for getting up there
in that league. Division.
So we're going to go number 7, a guy who I really like, a guy who I would argue could potentially be higher. I think he could probably be in the top 5, but I think for the sake of this, I think fans like offensive players always sell more tickets. Offensive players are the people you want to go and watch. So Luke Kuechly comes in at number 7. Kuechly, do you think he could be higher? Do you think he could be lower?
He could be higher, yeah. But simply because the influence he gives to the Panthers, we discussed it on the actual video we made on this, the one about the NFC South. And it was me who actually debated him in there. But on your arguments on you want to see the offensive players, they sell the tickets, they sell the shirts.
And I also think Kuechly was injured for a long time last season as well. Let's not forget that.
That's true.
It's hard to put him any higher.
You talk about his influence and saying how he was missing, but then you think, who were the guys actually out there and actually making plays last season in the here and now? Yeah,
and I think if had the Panthers made the playoffs, had they then done well in the playoffs, Kuechly would have been up there, top 5 for me for certain. But I think for the sake of it, for the sake of argument, not so much on this one. Now, 6 is a guy I think James would want a little bit higher. I would arguably put him in 5, but I don't particularly want to at the minute. Antonio Brown comes in at 6. As a Steelers fan, Antonio Brown, what an influence he was, what play he made against Baltimore. Number 6, do you think he could be higher? Do you think he should be lower?
Comes up clutch, picks up the stats, one of the best wide receivers, but I just want to see that ring on his finger. If he ends his career without one, I'll be very disappointed.
Yeah, I think that's what's missing for Antonio Brown. Also, the thing is, when we're discussing this, what makes it so hard to put it in order is obviously you're ranking players in positions that are different to theirs.
It's totally
Antonio Brown is our best wide receiver in the NFL based on the conversations we've been having. So Antonio Brown potentially could be high, but I think influentially in comparison to these other guys, I mean, the top 4 guys, I think you can't pick any other players. These probably are the top 4 guys in the NFL, regardless of who's saying it. But yeah, I think Antonio Brown there in 6 is fine. I could probably put him 5. I could probably put him ahead of this guy. David Johnson comes in at number 5, Cards running back.
I would put Antonio Brown ahead of him simply because he's done more. He's been in the league longer.
Yeah, but based off last season,
David Johnson. The here and now, David Johnson on the here and now. If we're talking about in general, Antonio Brown.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You can mess this around a little bit. You can change it. You can put whoever you wanted up at the top.
Does all of me matter though after number 1? I mean, it only matters who's the best player in this.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got down to our final 4 now, our top 4, and you may think we have 4 players left: 2 offensive, 2 defensive, 4 guys. The 2 offensive guys playing the same position. The 2 defensive guys basically playing the same position. Number 4, we've got Von Miller. Arguably, Von Miller could go to number 2. Arguably, Von Miller could go to number 3. We both said we like the other defensive guy a little bit better than Von. Although Von Miller does have a ring to his name.
He does.
Tell us why Von Miller's so high on our list, or why he's so low on our list.
That Super Bowl performance is one of the reasons he's so high on our list, because, I mean, to have that performance in such a big game, arguably the biggest sporting match in all of sport, and to do that was very admirable. But again, arguably not even the best player on the. I mean, you would say he's the best player on the Broncos defense, but I think a lot of people could dispute on that one.
Yep.
But with our third choice pick, which is, can I say?
Yeah, of course you can.
JJ Watt is, undisputably the best player on that Texans defense, and arguably the best. Well, we're saying he's the best defensive player, and I think 99% of people, that's his number, 99% of people would agree.
Well, this guy is one of the few defensive players in recent years to actually get the NFL MVP award. So
and he's marketable.
JJ Watt,
he sells tickets, he sells shirts, he does what not many defensive players do in terms of being the guy you want to see.
To go back to the offensive players are the main guys thing, JJ Watt comes in at tight end and grabs the football sometimes. So, I mean, that's what you've got to say there. JJ Watt can do anything on the football field. And I just go back to what a decent guy is. I've not met the guy personally, but everything you see, just people praising what a top guy he is. Obviously, James will be hoping it's a different Watt that's on this list next year. Obviously, his young brother TJ comes in. If TJ Watt is half the player, JJ Watt is going to be one of the best defensive players in the NFL. That's how good JJ Watt is. And his work ethic is second to none. Now, it's difficult. The top 2... You can have this either way. We've got it in the way that is going to please people and appease most people, I think. But I potentially would suggest it was the other way around. But I think based on what these guys have done in the game, you have to do it this way. So number 2 on our list is Aaron Rodgers. So, James, why could Aaron Rodgers be number 1?
He's just not won as many Super Bowls, is it? It's all about the rings in this game. It's all about getting it done in the big games. Very clutch player is Aaron Rodgers, but Tom Brady just comes back and back and back, and as he did in the Super Bowl of the recent one against the Falcons, when he made an extraordinary comeback, and it blew your mind really in terms of it's barely staying away because it's on so late in England, but then that. Give you a lease of life, just that third quarter.
I think
I thought, oh man, he's done one of the most remarkable sporting achievements I've ever seen in watching numerous amount of sports.
I actually think if those guys swap teams, Aaron Rodgers would have had the success that Brady would have had. I also think Brady would have had the success that Rodgers had in Green Bay. But these guys suit their teams down the ground. Green Bay is Aaron Rodgers. New England is Tom Brady. I think if Rodgers had the coach of Belichick, as I said before, I think he'd have got as many rings. I think Rodgers has got the better skill set, personally. I think Rodgers is...
if you're asking me who do I prefer watching, I prefer watching Aaron Rodgers, I have to say.
I mean, you can say Aaron Rodgers sells shirts. I mean, there's only not one number 12 jersey that I own, and it is not a Tom Brady. It is an Aaron Rodgers. So, I mean, I think that Rodgers, I think, is the best player in the NFL for me as a fan. But I also think this goes to the Messi-Ronaldo debate. Messi's the better player. but I prefer watching Ronaldo, and I think it's the same sort of situation here with these two guys. But one thing you can't argue when you talk about these is that they are both unbelievably fantastic players, and both have a great attitude to the game, and both are top guys. I mean, actually, Tom Brady I wasn't so keen on, and he made an Instagram in the last season, and I tell you what, I was creased at that on a number of occasions, so what a good guy he is. Anything else you want to add, James, before we wrap this one up?
No, not particularly.
No, well, thank you very much for watching. We're going to have one more video, and then it's regular season time, so let's all get excited for that. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, make sure you like. We're going to have content coming at you for the fantasy, for the NFL season, previews, reviews, all of it's coming your way this season, brought to you by me and James. Hopefully the other guys that you see on the credits will actually get involved in the video at some point.
Well, they are in our fantasy league.
They are in our fantasy league, so hopefully they'll be able to get involved at some point. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Let us know what you want us to record about. Let us know what you think. Do you think that Tom Brady's the best player in the league? Do you think that JJ Watt's the best player in the league? That's, you could argue that. But don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching. We've been Squib TV.
It's a touchdown.